Welcome everyone. In this video, we're going to cover some of the advanced topics for the Log Insight Cloud Log Explorer section. We will learn how extracted fields work, we'll take a look at the live tail feature, and do some log correlation to find issues in our environment. Let's begin. We'll go to our Log Explorer page. And for this example, I always like to use SCSI sense codes as an issue that we can look for and then extract some fields on. What an extracted field is taking part of the text of an event and extracting it out and creating a field out of it so you can query on it. It uses basic regex. So if you know regex, you're way ahead of the game. So let's search for sense. Fuzzy error, sense data. So this is perfect. This is telling us there was an error with a disk in one of our ESX hosts. So what we're interested in here is this string showing us there's an issue with the disk. D for disk, P for path, H for host. So we want to highlight this, extract this field. We'll call it sense disk issue. If we look at our advanced information, we can see that our pre-context is error and our post-context is valid. We're using custom regex, and this is the value of the regex. And this is what will come up when we look for events with this new extracted field. So let's save it. And now we can search our extracted fields. We add a new filter. Sense disk issue exists. Let's do a search for the last 5 minutes. And once our search completes, we can see here, here's one of the events that had come up. We can see that disk has the 0x2 error, while path and host are fine. Any of the events that come up are going to match that extracted field we created where there's an issue with the disk. Now we can use this extracted field to create an alert to alert when we have a disk issue in one of our ESX hosts that we might have to drill deeper into. Let's grab one of our host names. So let's narrow this down to the host name value of this host name. So when I click that, it will automatically add host name contains and the name of the host. So it looks like during these 2 times, we had a bump in these 2 disk errors. So if our app teams or another one of our teams is alerting us that there was a latency issue or some kind of other host issue during these times, you can verify that by going here and seeing that there was a disk issue with our vSAN disk during those 2 times. That created an alert in Log Insight Cloud based on our extracted field. Let's increase this to 24 hours. Let's do a trend. So it looks like these events are trending up past 194% past our baseline, and the SCSI errors on this host are trending down. This might have been fixed. We had 209 events of this type over the 24 hours and it's trending down. This probably was not fixed since the baseline is only -1, but it is firing off less. And then this one is a new issue since it's trending up at a 200% over baseline, 1.7 events per day. So we might want to take a look at this host to understand what's going on with our vSAN on it. We can check out this host and we can do some analysis there. So extracted fields are very useful for extracting your own fields when the out-of-the-box content packs don't provide everything you need. If you have custom applications, custom hardware, or anything custom that's being pulled into Log Insight Cloud, you can create your own content by extracting the fields and querying on them and alerting on them. Next thing we'll look into is our live tail. If you're familiar with the tail command in Linux, doing a live tail is pretty much the same thing as doing a constant tail in Linux. So we'll go to our live tail. We have to start by defining a constraint. Now we're live tailing all of the events that come in that have the word error in them. This isn't as useful because it's scrolling pretty quickly, but if you're doing something like deploying a new piece of code or making a change to an application, if you're deploying some new containers with some new code, you can start a live tail in your Kubernetes environment. You can deploy the code, and then you can watch for issues if any come in or any changes that you need to be aware of. So this is very useful in the DevOps space. So you get a live view of what's going on in your environment. So as you update your microservices, either in real time or after hours, you can see what's going on with the deployment If there are no errors and your deployment doesn't fail in the logs, you can push your services out to other clusters for quick deployment of code. And this is going to show you what's going on as you deploy the code and as end users are trying to connect and do things. If you tail for something very specific or an error you know you shouldn't be getting, and then you watch the live tail and that error pops up, you can stop your deployment and revert to an old code state or revert any changes that are making these errors pop up. Another nice feature while using the live tail is that you can use your favorite queries. So I just loaded one of my favorite queries, looking for service port activities in one of my Kubernetes applications. Now Log Inside Cloud is waiting for events to come in from my Symfony tenant in Kubernetes. So now if we push code or make changes, it'll show up in this live tail. We can see what's happening and we can react in real time as any issues crop up or any outlier events come up. And as you can see here, we're adding new service ports because an application was called. And now we can watch this in real time and make sure everything is running okay. So that's a review of some of the advanced features in the Log Explorer in vRealize Log Inside Cloud. As always, we recommend you go into your own instance and try these out. And thank you so much for watching.